Hey Homeberries. Today I have a video, it's a little different. It's a list of cliches I hate, just in no particular order. A cliche is a plot device or the like that has been used so often that it's commonplace and many consider it trite, which means it's old and boring. There are good cliches and bad cliches. So a cliche doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's been used a lot. For example, a good cliche is the couple that's been keep in mind this is my opinion, but it's the couple that's been separated and then they have a happy reunion, like yay. So it's a cliche, but it's good because you want to see the couple have a happy reunion. So without further ado, and hopefully my aunt's Yorkie won't be too disturbing, because he's been kind of needy lately. Here's a list I made of cliches I hate. Starting off, they're telling the truth, but no one believes them. You see this a lot in scary movies and scary TV shows, and it's frustrated me since I was a child. It's one thing if they're doing a boy who cries wolf story, you know, someone's lying, and then when they tell the truth, people don't believe them because they're used to them lying. Why am I out of breath? I mowed the lawn yesterday, not earlier. It's one thing if it's a boy cried wolf story, or if it turns out there's some conspiracy against the hero or heroine where everyone's been plotting against them. Otherwise, there's no purpose a lot of the time. Hey, Brady. Also, there are times when it can get ridiculous, like the main character will be in a completely different room and another character is in a different room, and suddenly some object just floats up by itself and throws itself against the wall and gets shattered. And the other character will blame the protagonist. Oh, why did you... Like, they clearly didn't throw it. What is wrong with you? They were in a different room. You saw it move by itself. You know, unless there's something weird going on in the mind, they should know that they didn't do it. I think the reasonable response would be to freak out. Like, wouldn't it be better and more realistic if suddenly the protagonist heard a shattering and someone was screaming and panicking? Then the protagonist runs in and they're panicking and they ask, oh, what happened? And they say, oh, I saw it move. Something's weird. You're right, there is something weird going on in this house. I should note that I'm not asking for the opposite where the other person just automatically believes, like, oh, I saw a ghost or an alien lands. Oh, well, that's good enough for me. It's more realistic, I'm going to use that word a lot, for the other person to think something's wrong. For instance, if a child comes and says, oh, I saw a monster in my closet and it was trying to get me, it's logical for the parent to think, oh, he or she had a nightmare, I need to go up and... That's so much better than... Because that's the thing. Not only are the people in this cliche not willing to believe, they're hostile in not believing. Like, someone says they saw something and oh, they're yelled at and berated and treated like garbage. It's, like I said, that's not logical. Another thing the people say, oh, I saw a spirit, and the family doesn't believe them. That's ignoring the large percentage of people that do believe in ghosts, that do believe in demons, that do believe in aliens, just whatever it is. Why don't we ever see a movie in which someone says, I saw a ghost, and the parent says, oh, well, we need to do a ritual? There are probably people who do the cliche of they're telling the truth but nobody believes, who say, who brag, oh, well, we could have brought in a priest, but we didn't want to be cliche. You're already cliche. I think what could make for a good story, well, I'll skip ahead because I want to tell a story that did something different. That was the Goosebumps book, Piano Lessons Can Be Murder by R.L. Stine. It opened, the main character and his family had moved to another place, and there was this old piano in the house. By the way, I'm going to be giving some spoilers. I apologize for that. I won't give away the ending, though. Well, the boy starts seeing a ghost. He tells his parents, and the first time they don't believe him because he's a prankster. He committed a prank earlier, like he arranged some clumps of dust and said there were mice in the house, so his parents thought, oh, haha, very funny. Well, the boy starts taking piano lessons, and he sees the ghost more and more frequently. So he keeps saying, I saw the ghost, I saw the ghost again. His parents think, oh, well, he's stressed out from the move. He's having nightmares because of all the pressure he's under. I forget if I mentioned already, he was taking piano lessons. He took piano lessons and things got creepier and more unsettling. So they sent him to a counselor, and there's a good portrayal of a counselor. Finally, there's a scary story in which a counselor or therapist isn't a complete unfeeling monster. He said the same thing, oh, you're just stressed out. So they didn't believe it was a ghost, but they believed something was wrong, and they were trying to help him. So then one night the boy sees the ghost again playing the piano, and he asks the ghost a question, I think. It's been a while since I've read it. And the ghost turns around and it doesn't have hands. It was somehow playing the piano without hands. So the next chapter opens up with the parents coming to the boy. He didn't remember, but apparently he had screamed and passed out. He was so shocked by the ghost. And they thought, oh, he's really nervous about the piano lessons and everything. He said, I don't want to go to the lessons anymore. And they said, all right, just take one more, and then you can quit if it's too much for you. And that's set up for the climax, which I won't reveal. But see, that was something different. It, like I said, a more, let me close the door here. It was a more realistic treatment. Oh, what I was saying, I can imagine a story in which a couple adopts a boy, and one night the boy comes and says, I saw a ghost in my room. And the father's like, oh, well, you had a nightmare, I'll come, let's go back together. But instead of just shrugging it off when they're alone, the father asks, what did the spirit look like? And then the boy describes the ghost, and the father says, oh, I thought it would end if I didn't have biological children. I'm sorry, I didn't know it would continue even with adopted children. It turns out there's been a family curse, and the father and son have to deal with the spirit together. I think that would be more interesting. than just heaping hatred on someone for claiming they saw something. Somewhat related to the first one, the next cliche, nobody trusts the character with a sterling record. There's a detective who solves every case. All their theories and conjectures are right. He always solves them, or she. They always solve the mystery and get the culprit, etc. So you'd think, oh well, they must be esteemed highly. No, very next episode they're being doubted again. Like here they are, they have a perfect record. They're golden as far as solving cases is concerned. And yet, whenever they tell their theory, the people, oh, don't be ridiculous. That's absurd. It would be so satisfying for these detectives to say, look, I've solved hundreds of cases. Why can't you give me a benefit of a doubt? Is something wrong with you? That's why I stopped watching that show Monk. It seemed like it got to where it's one thing early in the series when they're doubting someone, but for it to be several seasons in and they're still, oh, come on, that's ridiculous. It just seems weird. You think, what's wrong with these people? On a related note, you have stories set in a world a world in which the fantastic can occur, and they still don't believe in fantastic occurrences. For instance, you could have the hero stopping a werebat one week and a werecat a second week, and then the third week the hero says he's after, I think there's a werewolf loose, and oh, that's ridiculous. What are you talking about? He already took down a werebat and a werecat. Why is a werewolf so hard to believe? What they could do instead of that, they could have a hero who's had all sorts of fantastic adventures come up with a case, and he's driving himself crazy thinking of all the things it could be. Like there's a mysterious creature and the hero's wondering, is it a cryptid? Is it a space alien? Is it some sort of creature from another realm? Is it a scientific experiment? Is it supernatural? And he or she is driving himself or herself crazy until they remember the adage, when you hear hoofbeats, don't look for zebras, look for horses, meaning that a simple, ordinary answer is more likely than a far out one. And and then they realize it's something like, oh, it's a person in a costume, or it's an animatronic, something more mundane like that. That would be interesting, I think. A sort of counterpoint to that one is the cliche that the main character can never be wrong. Everyone else's theories, no matter how logical, are false, and the hero's theory is always right. Everyone else fails in a situation, but the hero does, although I admit that last one could be the chosen one trope, so yeah, I think you get the idea. Unless you make the situation interesting, it's dull to see the hero always succeed. How am I why should I care? Why should I look up to this hero? There's nothing I can relate to. Another one that's somewhat related, and this is why I decided to make this list. I thought of this. They want to make someone look kind and good, so they make all the characters look bad and terrible. Sorry, my throat's dry. I saw an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit that was like this. This girl called Mariska Hargitay's character and said someone had kidnapped her and was holding her hostage. Hargitay was working hard to help the girl, and Ice-T was helping her, but the rest of the SVU crew was just suddenly cold and uncaring. In fact, they were even trying to convince her that, oh, it was a hoax and there was no girl. They weren't even bothering to investigate. It turned out the girl was real. You'd think they would have reacted like, oh, it's real, we need to help her, you were right, come on, let's help this girl. No, they looked disappointed. It was like they wanted to go home and have a beer, never mind some poor girl who's in distress. So, there was also an issue of Justice League of America. This was back when my local drugstore had comic books. I was flipping through, reading the story. There was some town, there was a group of rednecks who had killed a space alien. Like, this space alien showed up and they killed it with a shotgun or whatever, and they were making the covers of the newspapers. Oh, these brave locals stopped the alien invasion. The Martian Manhunter wanted to investigate, but for some reason nobody else did. Because they said, oh, it's just an alien, which is stupid because Superman is an alien, which they even pointed out. And a number of reserve members are aliens, or deal with aliens, or allies with aliens. A Green Lantern, for instance, got his powers from aliens. This was the Kyle Rayner version. And he's friends with aliens, worked with them. So it's really odd that they said, oh, well, it's just some alien invader, whatever. One of them even said, hey, these guys did our job for us. What job? This is the same team that stopped a Martian invasion, and they, instead of killing the Martians, they did something else to them. So it was just very odd. For the record, and also, why is no one even interested in investigating? You'd think Batman would jump at the chance, but no one cared. It's like, oh, well, these rednecks we don't know from a can of paint said they did some great thing, so that's good enough for us. It turned out that the alien wasn't invading. I think it just wanted assistance. It's one of those shoot first, ask questions later. And it turned out the alien had a baby with it, which they killed, so it was just trying to get help. I don't know if that were a metaphor for anything, but it just struck me as odd. You shouldn't make other characters very out of character for the one to look good. Just show them looking good. Show them being kind and helpful and caring about justice, all of that. I also don't like it when they make established characters look bad, or well-liked characters look bad, to try and make an unlikable character look better. Like, they'll have an unlikable character and say, oh, well, it turns out their parents were really horrible. That we saw their parents in an earlier season and they were okay. So unless you're trying to do one of those things showing how people can have a facade and how people who seem good can really be bad, then you're just demonizing these characters to try and make the one character look good as opposed to trying to improve them or why don't you just get rid of the character if you don't want to put the effort in improving them? You're willing to make these other characters look bad, but you're not willing to improve this one character. It's just a roundabout way of doing things. You see this one more in modern superhero books. The hero or heroine sleeps around with everyone, and or they're a party animal. What's the point? If I don't care about what some singer or actress or athlete is doing, why would I be interested in the superhero doing that? I understand that some people might do that kind of thing as, oh, it's a commentary on rock stars or celebrities, or it's a deconstruction. Okay, if you can do that and make it interesting and meaningful, that's fine. Otherwise, why is it in the book? I think some of these also are kind of self-inserts or wish fulfillment fantasy on the part of the writers, like, oh, there's this other version of me, and look at how cool they are. They're doing all this. Still not impressed. I'm really not impressed. Also, there are instances where it seems like it'd be dangerous to the populace, like someone calls the superhero in the morning and they're hungover and don't want to do it. Why would you trust that superhero? Could you imagine if you called the police and the police officer showed up and said, oh man, I am so wrecked. I just got wasted last night, dude. Would you trust that officer with whatever it is you called them for? There are people who say, oh, well, we're trying to be realistic. If you wanted to be realistic, you'd show things real people go through. You would show people maybe catching a disease. You'd show them waking up with the taste of vomit on their breath. I know that's graphic, but that's something a lot of people have gone through. Or, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. Even with the chart, I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, if you're going to make the heroes drunks or whatever, why not make them, and I hate to say this, why not make them a fun drunk? You know, I'm not a fan of the use of so-called fun drunks in media, but if you're going to have a superhero who's drunk, why not make them like Otis on the Andy Griffith Show? Don't make them some arrogant person. Because that's the thing. You look at a lot of these people in real life that are known for partying and whatnot, and they're not well liked by people. My last point on that, what if it's not that a superhero was partying and all that? What if someone who lived that lifestyle already got superpowers? What kind of person would they be? Would they stay about the same, only with superpowers? Would they get worse because they use their powers to hurt people and take whatever they wanted? Or would they think, oh, well, I need to do something with these powers, I need to shape up? That would be more interesting than like, oh, there's a superhero who's living like a rock star. We've seen that before. Another cliche, someone hates the character for no reason. Sometimes it's the result of a misunderstanding. Like Anime America talked about the cliche in anime in which a boy trips and accidentally brushes up against a girl and suddenly, oh, you're a pervert. And no, the poor guy just tripped and happened to end up touching a girl. A lot of times when that happens, it should be obvious to everyone that the person isn't bad. There was just a misunderstanding, but no, they keep on treating the character like they're a pervert. You think, why? It was just that one time, and you've seen he's a good egg. You could have a character development like, oh, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding earlier. You see, there was someone I trusted and he ended up betraying me, so I've had issues with boys since then and I have a distrust of them. That's real character development. You should do that instead of, haha, so-and-so's being abusive to this guy over a misunderstanding because it's fun. It's not funny. You may also say, well, that happens in real life. People may hate someone for no reason or for a stupid reason. If something like that has happened to you and you like seeing that because you can identify with the character, then that's okay. I just think if it's annoying in real life, it's annoying on the show. I was just thinking, it's getting close to half an hour, so I'm going to cut this short and start on part 2, or make a part 2, so I'll see you shortly.